What's cracking, Seattle hockey fans? It's another Firebirds game day, and we are going to be joined by Jason Hernandez. Once again, we're going to recap Game 3, get you ready for Game 4, and talk about all the ways that you can enjoy the Coachella Valley Firebirds as they take on the Hershey Bears in the 2023 Calder Cup Finals. All that's coming up on Locked On Kraken.
You are Locked On Kraken, your daily podcast on the Seattle Kraken, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We are the Seattle Kraken.
Hey, what do you say, Seattle hockey fans? Thanks for making Locked On Kraken a part of your daily routine. The everydayers, you know that on a game day, we promised that mid-series we would talk to Jason, so we're going to bring him in just a minute. But I want to let you know that this episode of Locked On Kraken brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Of course, we are free and available on YouTube. Hello, YouTubers. And anywhere you listen to audio podcasts, including the Sirius SXM app. But as promised, I am not alone for today's episode. JD, what's good?
Woo, man. I'm feeling it, but the finish line is there. And I'm feeling it here too, man.
I'm telling you, those beards are growing in. Fantastic.
Hey, it's better than some of the boys on the roster right now.
Haha, well, I'll leave that to the boys indeed. You guys can argue about that, but we are glad to have you back. We are in between Game 3 and Game 4. Of course, we've talked about Game 3, 4, and 5 will be hosted by the Hershey Bears. But before we get into Game 3, I know our everydayers will know that we recapped Game 3 on yesterday's episode, but I want to take us back to Game 2, because that would have been the second consecutive game that you, as the PA voice of the Coachella Valley Firebirds, would have gotten the crowd fired up. And it was another shutout, JD. What'd you see from the crew?
All right, so let's start off with Joey Decord. I mentioned last time I was on here that Joey is trying to slay some of those demons from the previous postseason. He has done that and then some. And I want to go back to that, not miraculous, but that great save he made early on in the series in Game 1, where he just snatched a puck away and that turned the tide. Game 2, he did kind of the same thing, where the Bears were just starting to dominate, starting to get puck control. They had the puck for maybe 2/3 of that first period. And there was even a moment where I thought, oh, it could easily be 1-0 if not for a friendly post. Whew. Erica, it could have easily been 1-0 Hershey at the end of the first period.
Yeah.
Easily. So Coachella Valley dodged a bullet. After that, it was all Firebirds. That second period, bang, 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 bang. I mean, I tried to get through talking through those goals, trying to talk. And once again, they interrupted me while I'm talking to score a goal. How dare they? How dare they interrupt me? My goodness. But we got to talk about, Frodes getting the power play goal, Pogs getting in there, Riker Evans. By the way, the Pogs goal, sweet pass from Shane Wright, who is looking better and better as these playoffs have gone on. And of course, my boy, this was the one I was excited about. End of the second period, where Joey Decord kind of plays the puck, passes it over to Cameron Hughes. And then Hughesy finally gets off the schneid, gets his first goal of the postseason. We got to talk about, I could spend a bajillion minutes talking about that goal, but just the quick Cliff's Note version. He went coast to coast, got past one defender in the defensive zone, went through the neutral zone. And this is something that we know Hughes can do. We have seen him have highlight reel goals, but he's looked more to pass. That one, the last little fake out towards the end to get that fourth goal. Chef's kiss. Even I was on there going, ooh, that was nice. That looked really good from down there. and is really a credit to the overall depth of Cameron Hughes' game, but also the depth of this team. When you have Alexander True scoring, when you have Max McCormick scoring, when you have Cole Lind scoring, people forget, they sleep on Cameron Hughes. Don't sleep on Hughesy, or as the crowd would say, Hughes. Yeah, I get him fired up on purpose for that one.
Haha. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I mean, it was clicking on all gears. And it was really great to see. And it was that offense that we talked about when you were on the show, that we've been talking about, the everydayers know. And I love that you started with Joey Decord, because goaltending really matters in the playoffs. And we've seen that, whether we're talking about the Stanley Cup final. Unfortunately, my big bad bold prediction,
yeah. Let's not talk about that.
I mean, it is what it is. At some point in time, it's out of our hands once the Kraken were eliminated. But congratulations to the Vegas Golden Knights, the second ever team in Las Vegas to win a championship, of course, behind the Las Vegas Aces.
What up, Kelsey Plum?
Oh, man. Those were iconic photos of Kelsey Plum. Like,
anyway,
she became an icon. No, not anyway. I will spend time here.
No, if we start talking about it, I won't stop. That's why.
I love it. I'm here for it. But I think that Joey Decord was a little bit of, or I want to ask, and we're going to get into this in a little bit. Was Joey Decord also a storyline in Game 3? We did a watch along, and for the everydayers who joined me on the watch along, they know my thoughts on this, but I want to bring you in on this first, and we're going to do that in just a moment here on Locked On Kraken. But first, as I mentioned at the top of the show, today's episode brought to you by Gametime. Now, I travel a lot, JD. I know you travel a lot. And every once in a while, when you're in a new city, a new state, sometimes you want to check out what's going on. And Gametime is the perfect app. You don't have to plan months in advance. You just head over to Gametime, and you can find best tickets guaranteed using the Gametime app. You can even go on the app and check out what your seats are going to look like. And the Gametime guarantee is pretty cool, JD, because if you find seats in the same row, same section, there we go. Look at the props on this, man. Look at that. And if you find something same row, same section, and it's a better price, you will get 110% back. That is the Gametime guarantee. And I don't know, JD, is there any hope on finding some AHL tickets on Gametime? Because if so, you can use Locked On NHL for $20 off your first purchase.
There are some tickets if we get to a Game 6.
If we get to a Game 6, Hershey, they did pretty well packing out the stands. We'll see if we get to a Game 6. I know we have some everydayers who are planning to head to Game 6. But again, whether you're in PA or you're coming to the Coachella Valley or anywhere in between, check out the Gametime app. Use promo code LOCKEDONNHL. That will get you $20 off your first purchase.
Look at that. I can get Sparks tickets
Haha.
against Minnesota, but I don't want to see them lose to Minnesota again.
Oh, dear. Well, thanks as always for making Locked On Kraken a part of your daily routine. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network that brings you your team every single day, and we're absolutely free. Hello to all those watching on YouTube, and thank you, gracias, for everyone who is listening to us on your favorite audio platform. Again, you can listen to the Locked On Network like Locked On Kraken or Locked On Anaheim Ducks on the Sirius SXM app. All you have to do is search Ducks if you're looking for the Anaheim show with JD, or you can search Kraken, and that's where you'll find me on the Sirius SXM app. But all right, we talked about Joey Decord. We talked about Game 2. But now we got to get into Game 3. Again, spoiler alert, if you're not an everydayer, I talked about this yesterday, so we are going to let you know who won Game 3. It went to overtime, but it took a little while to get the gears going for the Coachella Valley Firebirds on the road. They were down 2-1 in the second period. Eventually, they got an equalizer. You mentioned Cameron Hughes, and he came up big for the Coachella Valley Firebirds. Got the equalizer in that game, but unfortunately, The Firebirds fell in overtime to the Hershey Bears. And so now this is where I want to ask you. This was a very different pace, very different game from game 1 and game 2. And we saw the Coachella Valley Firebirds, they allowed, again, 5 goals overall, including the overtime game winner. Was there something different with Joey Decord, or was there something else going on with the Coachella Valley Firebirds?
Not as much with Joey Decord. I think Joey overcommitted on a couple of those goals, which isn't such a horrible thing because he did make some great saves. And he also played the puck a lot more than usual, which might tell me that the ice conditions are a little bit different in Hershey than they are at Coachella Valley. I mean, you also have to consider that. How are the ice conditions? How are the boards? Keep in mind, Acrisure Arena, a very new arena. Giant Center has been around for 2 decades. The boards play extremely differently. The glass plays differently. As you saw in the first period, there was that little stoppage to fix the glass. So that also plays into it. So Joey Decord trying to play the puck off of the glass kind of got a little bit tricky, and he almost got a delay of game, by the way, during the game. I don't know if you remember that. It just kind of glazed over the glass, maybe just touched it by a smidge. So Joey almost got a minor penalty there. He was getting used to his surroundings and got more used to it as the game went on. So that's on the Joey Decord side. On the Firebird side, they were also getting used to the different ice, the different boards. The skating was a little bit off on this game to start. They looked like they came out a little bit flat, which, let's face it, they did come out flat, but they also came out a little bit like a team that was up 2-0 in the series. They're playing...
Explain that a little.
They were playing with a little bit of house money. Hershey was also playing with a ton of desperation because they know if they go down 3-0, this series is practically over. And Coachella skated well, but Hershey skated like they lit a firecracker up their butt. They were playing the most desperate I've seen them play all postseason. That includes this series against Rochester when they were down 1-0. We had not seen this kind of desperation from the Hershey Bears all season long. And this goes down to some of the other guys that hasn't gotten that much playing time or hasn't gotten that much opportunities. You know, Ethan Frank, he finally got off the schneid. Ethan Frank, another one of those unsung heroes for the Hershey Bears. I mean, he scored 30 goals this past season. I thought Ethan Frank, honestly, should have came out a little bit better this postseason, and he didn't. And for him to take that many games to finally score his first goal, I thought, where has he been all postseason long? This is what we were like. I was expecting Ethan Frank to score a goal or two in Coachella Valley, and he just hadn't. So to finally get him off the schneid, I could tell that really sparked Hershey a lot in Game 3. And for them to go out to a 4-2 lead, I thought it was over in regulation. So now going back to the Firebird side, they came back. They showed grit and determination. They showed that they're a team that will stick around and kind of bring the team back from the depths. So we've seen this numerous times from the Firebirds this whole postseason.
Did you say from the depths?
I did. That was
That's a thing here. That's a thing here on Locked On Kraken. I apologize. Continue.
That was meant, Erica. But I will say, for Coachella Valley to win both their games 5-0, 4-0, they dominated. Hershey played a great game and had to get puck luck on their side to win the game. Coachella Valley almost won it in overtime.
I think there's something to what you're saying, though I slightly disagree, because I think what we saw is what you told us about before the series. And in the watch along, I was saying the Hershey Bears are very comfortable on defense. And again, you alluded to that. And I noticed that they would allow, it was almost kind of like they would bait Coachella Valley, especially early in the game, into certain scenarios. And then just when we thought we had a centering pass or a cross ice pass, they lift sticks. They go stick, body, body in a flash. They are so good and technical when it comes to that. I was in love with their defense. The thing that changed is perhaps, I don't know if it was fatigue or maybe a little bit of what you were talking about with Coachella Valley, but they lost focus and they were not picking up bodies. And you started to see that Coachella Valley was doing what Hershey, I thought, did effectively against Joey Decord. They were ripping hard shots into the zone instead of just dumping. They were trying to get something to bounce off the pillows. They hit post several times. And if you noticed, Cole Lind, right? That pass across the crease. There were always at least two bodies crashing. A lot of the guys, they take a shot and then they're following their rebound. That's what Hershey was doing throughout the whole game, and they were playing solid defense. I agree with you, Joey Decord. There was one, I forget which goal it was, maybe around the 4 or 5 goal mark, or I guess 3 or 4 for Hershey, but he went down into his butterfly, I thought, a little too early, and that was easy pickings.
The Pelon goal.
There you go.
Yeah, that was the one that made me nuts.
Yeah, that was the one. And to your point about the boards and the bounces, and we've talked about this. Actually, we asked Shane Wright when he was on the show about how you break in Acrisure. And now, of course, that is going to play a role. It's just a little bit of a different barn. But obviously, both teams have had to adjust to playing on the road, playing in a barn that they're not as familiar with. But you could tell that Joey Decord, in addition to maybe getting used to the bounces, I don't think that his rebound control was as tight as we've seen it in the past. And I do think part of that is because, again, Hershey was banging those clappers in.
Yeah, something that they should have been doing in games 1 and 2 and just were not doing. But also because Coachella was keeping Hershey on the perimeter almost all of games 1 and 2, and we didn't see that as much in game 3. Something they need to work on in game 4. But to finish my thoughts on game 3, it was a ping away. It was a post away from Coachella Valley taking a 3-0 series lead. And it was a kind of weird bounce. About 10 feet in front of Joey Decord and Riley Sutter's game winner that got it to Hershey. So because of that, I'm not too worried.
Fair.
Hershey had to play a near perfect game to barely win in overtime. I'm just saying.
That is very true. And the determination at the halfway point in the third was beautiful. It was beautiful to see. I think you saw Coachella Valley wake up a little bit. Maybe they were getting used to the time.
They were mentally breaking down Hershey too.
Yeah, it was about 7:00 at that time, 7:00 Pacific, around the time they started waking up. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I do think, and Grant Fear did a great job in the intermission reports talking about this and saying essentially what both of us said, that it's little things, right? It's little things, and those are the fixable things. So that's the good news. Now, what you need, though, is the determination to do it, because now you've given Hershey a little bit of hope.
Yep. Not just the determination, the consistency.
There it is.
Through 60 minutes.
There it is. I love it. I love it. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this. Just go over some stats and facts before Game 4, game day tonight for the Coachella Valley Firebirds. But then also both teams have partnered in an interesting way. We're done with the chocolate bands, at least for a time. Well, we're not done, but we're moving away from the chocolate band. I was like, we're not done. We're still not doing chocolate. But I thought this is a pretty cool thing. So I want to talk a little bit about the community initiatives around the AHL finals, which also will have a new place to watch. We'll talk about that coming up. But now, JD, we're going to talk about Birddogs, this episode of Locked On Kraken, brought to you by Birddogs. Now, a lot of women like myself, we're familiar with Lululemon and the good fit and the high quality. Well, this is like a Lululemon for the male folk, and that's Birddogs. I know you are a big fan of the liner.
Yes, I am. Very much.
Big fan of the liner. We're talking cooling, high performance, and good looking. So, it's something that's cool. It's something that's comfortable. And it's something that if you have to go and make a presentation or maybe catch up with some friends for a dinner out on, a patio somewhere, you're still going to look clean and well put together. That's Birddogs. And so we want you to head over to birddogs.com, use /LockedOnNHL, and that's going to get you that free Yeti style tumbler that JD fashioned for us the last time he was on
it's not
the
here
episode.
right now.
Oh no, I know mine's in the kitchen as well, but keeps your cool drinks cool, keeps your warm drinks warm, keeps your hot drinks hot. What's not to like? Has the nice Birddogs logo on that. So again, head to birddogs.com /LockedOnNHL for a free Yeti style tumbler with your next purchase.
I had tea last night.
Oh, nice. What's
need
tea?
it.
What's tea? All right, JD, we are coming into the home stretch, the final period. No overtime for us today, but we talked about games 1 and 2, mostly game 2. We recapped a little bit of game 3, but what to expect in game 4. And we kind of alluded to this, but before we get into that, I just want to go over where we're at with special teams for the series. Coming into game 4, the power play for the Coachella Valley Firebirds, it's at a 20.93 clip. 18 of 86. Wowza. It also had a little over 20% for the Hershey Bears, but they've had 47 chances, have been able to capitalize on 10. But 86 power play opportunities. I have noticed a little bit that I think Hershey got a little taste that if they can get the Firebirds a little fired up, maybe a little too fired up, that they can kind of play that mind game a little. So I'm going to keep an eye on how many penalties overall. Before I want to get your thoughts on that, but real quick, the PK for both teams, just a scotch under 80% for the Hershey Bears. They're 10 of 49, 79.59%. And the Coachella Valley Firebirds, 13 of 68. 80.88% clip. But your thoughts on special teams?
Yeah, net penalty kill for Hershey is 82.6%, and the net penalty kill for Coachella Valley is about 87%. So through the playoffs, the net penalty kill has been better for Coachella Valley in general, but they still need to keep their cool and do the opposite of what they did last time. We saw in game 2, Hershey got frustrated. They committed bad penalty after bad penalty, especially the Hershey Bears captain, who so eloquently talked a lot in the box last game, Dylan McElrath. I won't go into details, but there was a lot of trash talking going on.
Ooh.
Yeah, stuff I can't say on the air. But for game 4, I think penalties is going to make a monumental difference. You saw both teams had 2 power play goals in game 3. Game 4, if Coachella Valley is going to win, it is because they are going to keep their cool. Obviously, allowing 2 power play goals not good, but 2 out of 4, giving Hershey that many chances is not good. And if they're going to win, they are going to come out guns a-blazing. They cannot come out flat. Like they did, especially in the second period. They just cannot come out that flat out of the first intermission. Something that happened, obviously, in game 3. Hershey scored right away, right? And that first shift, I could even tell Hershey was outskating them. But in order for Hershey to win, I'm going to try to do both sides to be kind of even here. In order for Hershey to win, they also need to keep cool, but they also need to just shoot around the slot. They need to to break the defense and get into the slot and try to create those rebound opportunities, because as you alluded to so perfectly, rebound control was an issue for Joey Decord for maybe 40 minutes of the game. Joey Decord let out some juicy rebounds that he normally does not let up.
Yeah.
So those are some of the keys for both teams for this upcoming game 4.
Yeah, I really don't have too much to add. I think again, also through just the natural course of our conversation, we alluded to some of those things. I will definitely be keeping an eye on that Hershey defense. I really thought they picked it up in game 3. I'm just a nut when it comes to defense, and there were just some clinical things there. That being said, and this is what you mentioned right in the last segment, it took a near perfect performance for Hershey to be able to win against Coachella Valley
A
in overtime.
squeaker.
Exactly. And there was, again, there was some, post to crossbar action happening. There was a direct hit on the crossbar happening. There was so much
Multiple
happening.
posts. If just
Oh,
one of those posts
pain.
goes in for Coachella
Yeah.
Valley, we're talking about a potential sweep.
Yeah, so I'm going to be excited to watch. I've been watching on Root Sports Northwest. Last game was on Root Sports Plus, but I saw you tweet that now that the Stanley Cup champion has been crowned, yeah, okay, very
This
good.
is the one silver lining. The one.
All right, let them know, JD. What's the silver lining?
The one silver lining is that because Vegas won in 5, NHL Network has nothing else to air, so they decided to air the remainder of the Calder Cup finals on NHL Network, which is a plus for the league because now it can be seen on a much wider audience. So NHL Network showing the Calder Cup finals.
You love
And
to see
hey,
it.
other silver lining. Silver lining, if Hershey wins one more at home, then no matter what happens, I would be the one introducing the Calder Cup to a now national audience, which is kind of cool.
That is cool. All right, we'll see what
I have to
happens.
find silver linings.
We will see what happens. Game 4 is today, June 15th, Coachella Valley at Hershey. That's 4 p.m. Pacific time. So that is 7 o'clock Eastern time. Game
Speaking
5.
of silver linings, go
Okay.
ahead.
Game 5 is going to be Saturday, June 17th. Again, Hershey hosting. That again is at 4 p.m. Pacific time. And as you mentioned, if necessary, well, game 5 is technically if necessary. Well, not anymore, I guess.
Not anymore, but yeah.
But we got to fix that, Coachella Valley. It's not if necessary anymore. But we'll have game 6 Monday and game 7 Wednesday, if necessary, at Acrisure Arena. But I wanted to get to this because the Coachella Valley Firebirds and the Hershey Bears announced the Calder Cup Community Challenge, in which the winning team will receive a $10,000 donation for charity from the opponent. So this is kind of like, when you pool the money in the locker room and you make a friendly wager, but this will do some good. And I know that there's so many things and outreach that the Coachella Valley Firebirds do. I'm sure the Hershey Bears do the same. So I'm really eager to see either way how that goes down. But a reminder also that for game 4 and 5, you can watch at the Spotlight Showroom at Spotlight 29 Casino if you are in the Coachella Valley. And of course, if we get to game 6, you can
there's a rumor
at Acrisure Arena.
There's a rumor that a certain someone will be at the game 5 watch party. So
oh, I don't know. Who what's the rumor? You got to tell us.
I don't know. What could the rumor be?
We'll see. We'll have to figure it out. All right. Well, JD, we are getting fired up for tonight's game. The Hershey Bears are hosting the Coachella Valley Firebirds. I see you've got a few extra rally towels in the back. I'm digging it.
Yeah, we talked about this. You need some decorations in the back.
I'm telling you, I've got a blank canvas here. I've got some rally towels from the Kraken. I just haven't posted them.
You need a Firebirds one now.
All right, we're gonna get it done. But JD, thank you so much for taking some time out. We might have to catch you again if the series goes back to the Coachella Valley. Maybe we'll see if you've got some time for us.
Yeah. Quick shout out, thanks to the Baby Fuegos for giving me this. This is really cute.
Aw, that is adorable. I love that. Like there it is, caw.
We have some of the best fans in the world. We probably have the best fans in the AHL. I feel like a homer saying that, but I personally think we have the best fan base in the American Hockey League, even though we're only 6 months old. technically.
Well, and it was interesting to hear Gina talk about that in one of the intermissions a little bit, and just how excited the fan base has been even before there were players, even before the arena was finished. But, Seattle Kraken fans, we know a thing or two about that. But
Oh, yeah.
JD, I'm so glad that you have joined us a few times now, including to break your little bit of news that you were going to be with the Coachella Valley Firebirds. Little did we know at the time that we would be talking to you not once, but twice, maybe thrice, during the Calder Cup finals, as the Coachella Valley Firebirds are going for a championship in their first season. Take that, Vegas Golden Knights. And with that, we will end the show. As you know, I like to say, be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other, hold fast, stay true. Let's go Kraken, and let's get fired up.
Let's stay fired up.
That's it. Thanks, JD. Thanks, everyone. We'll catch you on the next episode of Locked On Kraken. Peace.